My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Kick-Ass. And this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But this movie kicks ass. I have always loved it. It never gets the recognition it deserves, but this is one of the best, and I mean the best superhero movies ever made. One thing I love so much about it is that it's just about what it takes to be a hero. Dave is just a normal high schooler. He has no special abilities, but he just one day decides to become a superhero because he knows it's the right thing to do. And he knows deep down he's in way over his head, but it's about that belief that anyone can become a hero. And it just becomes instinct for him. Like, these convictions are deep. And like, there's one scene early on where him and his friend get robbed, and there's this one dude that just watches and does nothing. And that's just not right. During the one fight where he's taking on those three guys, the one guy threatens to kill him, and he's just like, three assholes laying into one guy while everybody else watches, and you're asking what's wrong with me? Yeah, I'd rather die. Like, I find this character to be so well written, and I find these ideas to be so meaningful that it's oddly moving for me. Like, this movie hits me in the feels. There's one scene near the end where he says, no power, no responsibility. Right? And he goes like, wait, no, that's not right. And of course, it's a play on with great power comes great responsibility, but if you don't have power, does that mean you have no responsibility? No, you still do. And I just love this movie. That is such a great line. It really is. So that serves really strong as the emotional foundation of this story about what it takes to be a hero. And I like how this movie can feel grounded at times. Like, it's just an ordinary high school guy becoming a hero, and he just kind of walks down the street. He doesn't really do all too much at first, but the movie still manages to be very over the top in the best way possible, and it's just a very entertaining movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think, gives one of his best performances here. He carries this movie incredibly well, and he does everything he needs to perfectly. I think he's the perfect mix of geeky but also confident. Then we've got Chloe Grace Moretz, who I think is just amazing as Hit Girl. This is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time because of this movie. She's a badass, she's tough, she's funny, but she can also be vulnerable when needed. She does bring some depth to this character, and they just nailed it. Nicolas Cage, I also thought did a fantastic job. He's a complete badass as well, and I like how we got him standing up against corruption, but you can also see that he's gone a bit too far, and how he's kinda a more competent version of Dave. And I like the way the movie explores him. There's one scene especially where he's yelling out to Hit Girl, and his line delivery is just pitch perfect. Christopher Mintz-Plasse, I thought, did a very good job. I like how he's not a bad guy in this movie. He's just a son desperate for his dad's approval, and we really get that sense here. Mark Strong, I thought, brought plenty of weight to this character. He does the evil businessman ever so perfectly. Lindsay Fonseca, I thought, brought some real sweetness to this movie. She helps keep it grounded. Stu Riley is just a bodyguard, but he does steal a few scenes. He can be really funny when needed, and I thought he brought enough personality to this movie. And then Clark Duke and Evan Peters both did a very good job. So the entire cast is a strength of this movie, and this movie does manage to be hilarious. There's especially one scene with a bazooka near the end of the movie that got me laughing really good. I love the music by Henry Jackman, John Murphy, Marius DeVras, and Ellen Ishkiri. I know not all of the music being used is original. There's some music from Sunshine Hill. There's music from a band called The Prodigy. But the way it's used in this movie is just perfect. And the original score that does exist is also really good whenever it does show up. I love the soundtrack choices. It can add a nice playfulness at times. I love the use of Bad Reputation. But my favorite song in this movie is the end credit song, Makes Me Wanna Die by The Pretty Reckless. That is one of my favorite songs of all time, and it just brings a smile to my face hearing it at the end of this movie. And it fits the vibe very well. I think Matthew Vaughn does an incredible job directing this movie. It's very stylish, it's full of energy, and the editing is great. There are some scenes where you can tell it's chopped up a bit, but it still runs ever so smoothly. And the action in this movie is just fantastic. It's brutal, it's awesome. Like, I love Hit Girl's introduction, I love the whalehouse scene, and the final battle is great. But there is one scene that goes above and beyond. And it's the kick-ass unmasked sequence. Like, the build-up is so effective. Well, Big Daddy and Kick-Ass are getting beaten brutally. All of Dave's friends are watching, Katie is watching, and you just feel the weight of it. But then Hit Girl comes in and saves the day, and the way this scene is lit is just perfect. Like, at first we get some night vision POV, but then the gun muzzles light the scene, then they set Big Daddy on fire, and that lights up the screen. She then uses a strobe light, and then we get this beautiful moment where she comes in from behind and shoots the guys. And we see the fire on one half and the strobe light on the other. And it's just so beautiful that it actually makes my jaw drop. Like, it is just one of my favorite action scenes of all time. Visually stylish, it's emotional, the music is perfect, and yeah, it's just amazing, amazing stuff. And then Big Daddy does die, and you feel that weight, and I love that one conversation between Dave and Mindy afterwards, where Dave is like, I'd be dead if it weren't for you. And she says, and if it weren't for you, my dad would still be alive. And you just feel the weight of that. Just really great stuff. So, anyways, I love these characters. I love this story. I think it's emotional and meaningful and a very moving movie. Like, it inspires you to do better. It's very over the top. There's some great action. It can be very funny. The soundtrack is great. It's just one of the best superhero movies of all time. So I'm giving Kick-Ass a 9 out of 10. And once again, Makes Me Wanna Die is such a fantastic song. I love it. But Kick Ass, do you think it kicks ass? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin,